Hello, and welcome to Respect, the San Francisco International Hip Hop Dance Fest weekly video podcast with me, Micaya, and my gorgeous co-host, Brandy Beasley.
What's up, y'all?
What is up is that if you haven't heard the big, huge galactic news is that we are back live at the Palace of Fine Arts Theater, and people who love the SF International Hip Hop Dance Fest are absolutely thrilled because here we are doing this again. Tickets are on sale, aren't they, Brandy?
Tickets are on sale. The Dance Fest is November 11th through 13th. That's going to come up. It's going to be here before you know it. So you got to go on sfhiphopdancefest.com and get your tickets now. Back in action at the Palace in San Francisco.
You know what year this is?
This is our 24th year.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And we want to make it to the 25th year, right? So buy your tickets, go online. You can donate at the same website. And you also can come out to One Love, our annual fundraiser. That's going to be on November 3rd. I'm excited. I'm really excited about the interactive mural, and also about the world premiere of the documentary Juggernaut. It has a name now. Yeah, featuring feline.
It's done had a name. I'm excited because, of course, it was my project, but it's a documentary that was shot of the process. Part of the documentary is the process of me choreographing for this all-female youth dance group. And part of it is just about them and their past, present, and futures. And this youth group is called Feline Finesse. And they have a little dance studio in Bayview's Hunter Point. And they were so delightful and fun to work with. And so that's what Juggernaut is about. Juggernaut is what we ended up naming the piece. And I figured it might be great to name the film the same. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited, like you said, that here we are in the 24th year, and the pandemic definitely depleted our funds. We have given people shows the last 2 years, have we not?
Yes, we did. What was it? 2020. We did a fully virtual show. We hosted from like a remote location, right? And then 2021 last year. Wow. Sometimes I'm like, what years? When? The pandemic, right? It messed up time.
Yeah.
But yeah, last year we did a viewing party, and that was really cool because it wasn't fully virtual. So it's nice to just get together again. And now we're back all the way, 100%.
Back all the way.
Yes.
I yesterday, I don't remember what I was talking about, but I'm kind of one of those mamas that like to feed people. And I say that in a literal sense, but I also say that as a person who wants to present, or even as a teacher. I'm just like, here, have some more, have the best. And the last 2 years, although virtual, both feet were put in these shows, and they were outstanding. If I can remind you, we had John Buggs, we had Hilty and Bob, among other huge orbs of shining light that were such an honor to have in our festival. Although it was a recorded event, it was spectacular. I didn't like pull back. And I think I feel that way about this year. Oh my goodness, we're back. So I'm going to just dish as much as I can. And then, hope that people appreciate it, as they always do. This year, we have people coming from New York, all over California, Norway, and Paris. And, Mother Micaya is not going to make you leave hungry.
No. Right? I can't wait to hear just the interaction from the audience, right? Because when we're virtual, we there's that wasn't there, especially 2020, 2021, somewhat with the viewing party, but now we get to have that is some of the life of the show.
Anyone that has yet to go, you just moved to San Francisco, we encourage you to see this one-of-a-kind legendary event that honors the artistry of these dance, and it's mind-blowing. And with that, I just want to say that part of the way that I curate the show is in the past has been by applications. People apply online and they apply from everywhere. I mean, absolutely everywhere. And it's such a privilege to see what work people are doing all over the world. And this year I did something different. I commissioned a few people. And our guest today is a representative of two commissioned works that will be performed in festival. Brandy, who is our guest?
So we have Alejandro Prince Ali Flores with us here today. He's going to be in Dance Fest as well as the dance crew that he's in, Playboys Inc. So Prince Ali Flores was born and raised in San Jose, California, and his love for music and dance led him to discover the artistic expression of hip hop during his early teenage years. So in 2005, he began his journey popping, a dance style created right here in California. I'm a California girl with roots in Oakland in the 1960s with a style called Boogaloo. So since then, he's been given the chance to represent alongside some of the longest running dance crews in the Bay Area, one of which is Playboys Inc. They were founded in 1981. They've been the premier popping crew for over 40 years here in the Bay Area. And they were established at the height of the popping craze. So their members have traveled globally to compete in world-class competitions, as well as share the history and culture of dance through teaching. And this group they have a variety of styles that they specialize in not just popping, but also strutting, boogaloo, tutting, waving, and robot. And let's get schooled today on, you're going to leave here, you're going to know what all of those are. So really excited to have Prince Ali with us here today.
Hello. Good
Hi.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hey.
Thank you for being here
Thanks for having me.
with us. Well, Brandy and I wanted to just get right to it. We want to know, because Playboys has been around for 40 years, and they are all about the preservation of the culture and the education of dance history. I mean, I know it's a big ask, but can you not only educate us but our listeners about some of this dance history that you all are so well versed in?
Yeah, of course. So our crew was established in 1981 by a man that was known as Playboy Rob, rest in peace. And in this time period, our group president, Money B, or Brian Moreno, was basically a 12-year-old boy who also was into poppin and boogaloo at the time, joined the group and was basically the one that carried the torch. And so I want to say in the early 90s, he kind of like resurfaced with the dance and started recruiting new members. And so, fast forward, 2008, 2009, myself, a couple of my friends who were into popping at the time met him and recruited us, being kind of his newer generation. So, and it's just been going forward ever since. So, as far as the dance history itself goes, this dance traces back to a style of Boogaloo out of Oakland, which is characterized by a lot of hard stops, soul stepping, hitting. And this is like in the height of the civil rights movement in the 1960s. So yeah, this is like basically the heart of the dance. And then as time evolved, more cultures got involved and people started, adding in different elements. And so where we're at now, or we call it poppin', and we're adding a lot of different elements like waving, tutting, gliding, ticking and animating, things like that. So it's pretty crazy.
So, okay, let's go back to the beginning. 1981. Wow, that was a long time ago. That was over 40 years ago. I know, because that was a very significant year for me, but that's not about me. 1981, the founder, where did he learn popping? Like, because you're saying that he was in San Jose, right?
Yes.
So What's the origin story of that?
So, to my knowledge, just how it was basically kind of a trickle down effect. So, if ground zero was Oakland, and over time, kind of, just information just got passed. Like, you got to think like these were like middle schoolers, high schoolers. And if you knew somebody from that area, whether it was your cousin or maybe it was a friend, or maybe you went to a talent show and saw it, because there was a lot of talent shows back then, like Richmond talent shows, Oakland talent shows, different groups from all over the Bay Area. If you had an opportunity to see that, you were like bringing it back home with you and just practicing it. So to my knowledge, Playboy Rob, the founder, actually was close friends with people on his block. And this is like in East San Jose, California, like 1980s. There was a group that were called the Puppetrons. Mm-hmm. And they were a Samoan group that actually would strut, and they actually competed, if I'm not mistaken, in one of the Richmond talent shows, and actually like made a name for themselves doing some strutting routines, which is what we're going to actually be performing for the show, is a full-on strutting piece mixed in with some popping elements. But yeah, that's basically what we're doing, just kind of paying homage to that style through and through.
Okay. So because there was no internet,
right?
Mostly like, I happen to be in Richmond or Oakland and meeting and seeing people and actual human interaction, instead of I saw this on YouTube and I'm just gonna, try to get that from some virtual source.
Yeah. I think the word of mouth thing of just like, you had to be there was definitely like a huge factor. And I think it's one of the things that like we, as newer members, try to preserve, although we have the internet to kind of like pass along information. Like for me, like I value it like highly. It's like, I just like to show up and just show the craft in person, and then to think about back then and like how people were basically exchanging information then. It's like you literally found out about this dance, whether it was through a friend or maybe a cousin that maybe you or family member that you saw, once a year, and they were like, hey, up in Oakland, we're doing this, and they'd be like, yo, that's like, that'll blow your mind. And they'd be like, okay, let me try my hand at that. And then it kind of just was a snowball effect. So if you think, once again, Oakland being ground zero for this dance, that eventually like transferred over to communities over in San Francisco, which they created strutting. And then by the time, things kind of trickled down, because San Jose's at the bottom. So we're already combining things like boogaloo, roboting, strutting. At this time, we're started adding this continuous hit, which is known as popping. All these elements kind of coming together at this time period, in the 1980s. It was like this like melting pot of different styles, which is really, really interesting. So popping is very, very prevalent in San Jose during this time period.
Are you good? So I have a question. So it's funny. Side note, in the probably early to mid 80s, I was all the way overseas in Japan because my mom was Air Force. And like we were trying to do these dances way over there. Like, so it was everywhere. But, in general, when you hear people talk about these styles, they kind of say poppin and locking, and they leave out the strutting and and tutting and they leave all that out. So how did that, where did that kind of phrase come from, and how did they come to be kind of joined together, even though they're completely different styles?
Yeah, I think it was more of a media thing. So, to be honest with you, I think over time, the media got a hold of these, the terminology, and kind of just like lumped it together. Because I know for one, like speaking to like my OGs, like there was a time and point where everything was under the umbrella of breakdancing when it really wasn't. It was like, breaking was its own thing. Then you had poppin', then you had locking, and there were all these separate styles that came from different communities. And so like, for example, like breaking's from New York, poppin' is from, Northern California, has its roots, right? And then you got locking from Southern California, which is from South Central LA. And so, rest in peace, Don Campbell, the, creator of that style. It's like, it kind of over time, as the interest grew, and then in the media, it's like it kind of all just kind of got it clumped together, unfortunately. But, nowadays I feel like there's slowly becoming a lot more awareness of these styles. You have a lot of teachers that are educating people on this, which is great. And then, also honoring the OGs that were there during this time period and really trying to give them their flowers. So it's good that these things are changing.
I think with all of us, we can say that our history was taught to us by people who were there or knew someone that was there. Although, Brandy and I are older than you, we weren't there. And it's only for me. That's why anytime someone asks me as a representative of the Hip Hop Dance Fest to talk about the history, I bring other people to help me, because there are a lot of different stories, and sometimes I'm not trying to get into any, combative, conversation, but sometimes they don't agree. What is your take on that? Is it just that, it possibly people were doing the same thing at different places at the same time?
Yeah, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that perspective at all, because I think if you really go back to it, in my opinion, I think it's the music that moves you. So I feel like there's history with, for example, I'll speak on it. Fresno, California, the Electric Boogaloos, right? They have a specific style of how they get down, which they call it the Electric Boogaloo style. Can't take anything away from that history. But, that's their truth. And then you have people up here in Northern California, you're talking mid 1960s to 1970s, where they were doing a style called Boogaloo as well, where they had it's very similar. It's like, they're adding in the hit, they're soul stepping, they're basically just booging. So when you talk about like the time periods, and it's like a lot of the stories, they can kind of collide and conflict. It's like, for me as a younger generation, like I listen to everybody and I just hear their truth, and I try to my best is keep an open mind with all of this, because it's like everything that they have to share as a value to me, So then as an instructor and as a teacher, I try to pass along this message, and it's just like, try not to take this, 100% like this is exactly how it's going to go. It's like, you need to just keep an open mind and really hear them out, all their stories,
Oh, yes. My heart just got fuller, because that's how I feel every time I'm listening to a legend. I'm just taking it all in and just saying, I'm going to take this truth. It's their truth, like you said.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I've never heard this said before, and it may seem real simplistic, but it sounds like you're saying that popping really did evolve from Boogaloo. Am I right for saying that?
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at, as far as the stuff that I've heard over the years through different OGs from different regions. Boogaloo comes from the South. Black communities in the South. They came up here. It's like they brought that movement with them, and then obviously, me being Latino, like having that background, it's like we're basically like honoring, for myself, honoring the movement by adding in, my own flavor, but at the same time also like paying respect and like really learning the foundation. So it stems from that dance. But then as the music evolved, music got faster. So the movement got a little bit quicker. The hit actually got a little bit quicker with the beat and the up tempo, the faster tempos. So it's like, my friend Boogie Frantic, he really put it simply. It was like, you just look at the music and then see the timeline, and you watch the movement change as well with time. And it's like, right. it's kind of like, easier to put it that way when you look at it from that perspective. You're like, oh, it makes a lot more sense.
It really does. We love Boogie Frantic. We've had him at the festival several times.
Yeah.
Love him.
Speaking of the festival, so I'm really interested. You told us a little bit about, what kind of piece Playboys Inc. will be doing. I'm really interested to hear about your solo piece.
Yeah. I think for my solo piece, anytime I do any sort of solo work, I try to really pull from a personal, memory or a time and place of my life, that whether it's, past or present, or maybe something I'm looking forward to in the future, I feel like this piece is kind of a culmination of those three things. And so I just really was like, I had this piece in my mind and I was just like, you know what? I want to save it for the right time and place. And I feel like this was like a really great opportunity for me to share it, on this stage. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it here. So
what's the name of the piece, your solo piece?
You know what? I always tie it in somehow with the name of the song. And, I just decided to name it Her Work, because I feel like it's really a dedication to how, meeting your significant other, in this case, a woman, but regardless of gender, it's like, meeting that person and how it can kind of help you evolve, being a better person. And so, and just kind of looking forward to all the things that brings, trials and tribulations included, but also the positives. So that's basically what I wanted to kind of like, package in this piece.
Wow, I'm getting misty-eyed because, this is the first, 2022 respect that I'm getting misty-eyed on. But it's not the first one. It won't be the last one. Because, we get into some, dance and music. You just like, it is in your soul and your heart. So that's just what happens.
Yeah.
I love you for that, Brandy.
I always bring the mist.
She does. She brings the mist. And tell us the other piece, the name of the piece that Playboys is performing in Program B, right?
Yeah. So Playboys is doing a piece, 81 Till Infinity, just more of kind of like we've been around since then, and more or less we're just going to continue on into the future by carrying the tradition of, strutting, poppin, boogaloo, really trying to honor that tradition of the dance. And then also, like I said earlier, kind of infusing our flavor, more a little contemporary and modern flavor. Not the dance styles, but contemporary and modern feel is what I mean. So that's basically the gist of it.
What makes it contemporary or modern feel?
I think for us, we try to, at least for me, like I like to dance to all kinds of different types of music, and I get influenced by, things that are happening today. It's like I like to bear tradition, but I also like to fuse in like things that I think are that catch my interest. And I feel like everyone that's performing with us, have basically kind of a same outlook. It's like we want to honor the traditions that came before us, but we also want to put a little modern twist, whether it's the way that we wave, the way that we hit, the way that we carry ourselves on stage, the types of music that we're dancing to. You'll see it in the piece. It's a mixture of like, there's some solos in there, but also like you'll see it in the routines as well.
Isn't that the mission statement, Brandy, of the Dance Fest, to honor the legacy and encourage the evolution? It's like he just.
That's what the piece is going to be doing. I
love it.
I love it too.
You said that. It sounds like the same thing that we talk about. Is that how many people are performing in Playboys?
It will be 5 with myself included.
So you are going to be a busy man that weekend because you're performing in Program A as a soloist and in Program B in Playboys. If you are new to the Dance Fest, there's 2 programs. They're completely different. So in order to see the entire elephant, you need to come to both programs and check it out. Program A is twice and Program B will be performed twice. Like Brandy said, November 11th, 12th, and 13th. So you have 2 chances to see each program. And, it's people that you would not necessarily see all on one stage in any other way. I mean, that's what makes it so one of a kind, and that it shows the diversity of styles and humans and the way that we express ourselves artistically. I went on a tangent. Tell me about all these little plaques next to you.
Some of them are not anything like that has like any sort of deep meaning, but I have this is like a couple of trophies. Like there's some off camera, but like this is just a Bay Area battle that I did. gosh, when was this? It does not have the year on it, but I think this is in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. It was an all styles battle here in the Bay Area. This is a battle that I did in Chicago. And then right above this, you can't see it. It's like right above this little like painting here, but is my first like world champion title that I've never, that I really, really worked hard towards. That was also in 2019. So I guess you could say 2019 was a good year. Yeah.
Right on, world champion.
Right.
Pretty crazy.
Yes, we're going to have another world champion on stage at the Dance Fest. I think we've probably had some others that we didn't know about. I don't know, but I feel like that's what kind of stage it is. Like dance legends and champions, and just, yes, I'm excited. I'm already thinking about my outfit. That's part of my excitement, how I build up.
Okay, well, I think that means it's time to go to our jar.
Yes. So we have a silly question jar.
Yeah, so this is our third season of Respect, right? Or second?
Yeah.
Okay. Third season of Respect, and this year we're doing something new. Brandy and I made up some questions. We call them this, like just silly questions. I don't know. And so we made a jar, and now we're going to pick one out for you, and you have to answer it. Are you
I
ready?
love the faces. We have to start like showing the faces, because I think when we had our previous guests, they made they're like, because
it wasn't really it wasn't a silly question, you remember?
Yeah. Oh, but even just when he heard we were going to ask a silly question, he made a face. And Prince Ali did the same thing. He's like, oh.
Oh, this is a good one.
Okay.
The question is, what's the weirdest gig that you've ever had?
Oh, man. I gotta think about this one for a second.
I'm trying to think myself. Like, I know I had to do like one of my dancers in a Snoopy costume once. I've had, I've dressed up as a bird. I've had to go inside of those, like things where you're making a sculpture with your body, but they don't see your body because you're inside this fabric. You have to like move super slow motion. And I went into a trance. I'm doing this so you can think. I went into a trance, and because I got kind of claustrophobic, and I was just like, I'm just going to like breathe. And because I don't know if I can do this, but I was thinking I need the money because I'm a single mom, and I'm like, shoot, I'm just going to try. So I went into this trance, and as soon as I went into trance, somebody touched my toe and said, "You're done." And I'm like, no, I just started. And they're like, no, it's been 30 minutes. Wow. I promise you, it was the weirdest experience. All right. So there's one of my that just came to my mind, honestly.
All right, got some inspiration. I would say I wouldn't pinpoint it to like one single experience. I think there was like a couple that I'm thinking of, but the first one that I thought off the top of my head, it was a commercial gig actually, and it wasn't like super huge production or anything like that, but it was for Samsung. It was really interesting. And the costumes that they gave us were so janky. I was just like, no one would wear this in real life. And it was like, I'll tell you exactly what I had to wear. It was a yellow jacket, almost like a raincoat. So I looked like, was it April from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Like one of those.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it was me wearing that. And I don't know what I was wearing on my head. It was probably something funny. But then I remember they gave out one of the shirts that I had to wear was a shirt that was multi-print, and it had a bunch of hot dogs on it. I specifically remember that. And I was just like, yo, I don't know. But it was like, we had to do it. So it was that there, I was dancing a hot dog shirt. So there you go.
Dancing in a hot dog shirt. Micaya has dancing in fabric. I think mine was like, I'm going to share mine too. A paid gig where we went to a big party for alcohol company. Now, there's two of those we did, but the one that was weird for me was not the outfit. It was the one where we got on the dance floor and danced for like all of 30 seconds or 2 minutes. And then the lady was like, no.
I remember that.
And I was like, what happened?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't remember why she said that.
Me neither.
Honestly, now that it's like triggering a really awkward feeling inside of me. Like it was oh, they didn't want any culture or something. I don't know. Right.
Yeah. I feel like it was something specifically about me and the other dancer that person didn't like. And I was like, cool, I'm going to go eat and drink. Okay. But you're going to pay me back.
Backstory, Brandy danced with me many years and in Soul Force Dance Company. And now she is a latent dancer, being a mom and many other things. All the things that she is. I do remember that. But I also remember the other one where we spent all the time with you they wanted so bad for you to wear this light up costume, and it spent so much time hooking you up. Didn't it take like 45 minutes to hook?
It took a long time. It was like this white full body leotard where you're supposed to like click on LED lights, and the LED lights, there was like all these weird instructions, and it just never worked.
Never worked.
Yeah.
No, the whole thing was about that. We spent so much time. I didn't have anything to do with. I choreographed it. Somebody was doing the costumes that never worked. They end up just dancing in the white unitard things.
Yeah.
Man.
So interesting.
Memories. Anyway, well, what do you think? That was good. I could talk to him all day, though. I mean, I feel like we could just keep pulling and pulling, but I know that we could have him back.
Yes. Right? Yes. More history, because you know what I'm going to go do now? I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to look up was it the Samoan group? What was the name again? Prince Albert?
Oh, the Puppetrons.
I'm going to look up Puppetrons.
I wish there was some more resources there.
I've never heard of it. And 2020, we did interview Fazo, and I don't remember him ever he mentioned a lot of people, but it was more like the strutting stuff. So anyway, It's been such a pleasure. To everyone who's listening, do not miss Program A or Program B, because you will be honored with these performances, not only by Prince Ali, but by Playboys and many other dance companies, which you will find out later, because I don't know when this episode will air. So I don't know if I should reveal anything else besides that. I know that we did that Freedom and his group has already been, because I know we interviewed him last time, and his is going first. So Freedom will be here from Los Angeles with his group, and then of course, and these talented dancers and many more. And you just have to come and appreciate and enjoy this legendary Bay Area event that, quite frankly, is going to hopefully live on next year to its 25th, or it may not. And it's not like, we're doing anything but just trying to preserve something that is absolutely sacred and, worth gold. And so come and check us out. Go to One Love. Come to the SF International Hip Hop Dance Fest, the SFHipHopDanceFest.com. You can find out how to donate if you or anyone you know is somebody who has access to money, but it's just like, I need something cool.
Yeah.
Something cool to donate to that is a 501c3, it's tax deductible, and they just want to give something cool that's really meaningful. What happens is when I get more money, I'm about how can I take care of dancers. That's how it is, because I am a dancer. I am a choreographer. It's what I do for a living, so I understand. So that's my little spiel. And anyway, thank you to all of you for being with me today and spending your time with me. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Ms. Brandy. And thanks, everyone. Until next time, much respect.